What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of your favorite internet cooking show, Smell What Coop is Cooking. I'm your host, Coop. On last week's episode, I took you guys with me on a very special Learning with Coop episode where I learned how to break down a couple of chickens. We broke down 3 of them, had some leftover carcasses, and on today's episode, I'm going to show you what we did with them because we're hooking up chicken broth. Full recipes in the description as always. Let's go. What's up, you guys? Let's start with a little bit of prep as always. Here I've got some not so fresh carrots, green onions, and 1 yellow onion. Feel free to use any veggies you got laying around the house that are going to be nearing their expiration date soon. That way you don't gotta waste all those veggies you spent your hard-earned money on. Just gonna give these a rough chop, nothing crazy. Just want to break these open, release some of those natural aromatics from them. And once we got all of our veggies all cut up, let's go ahead and throw these on a roasting tray, along with last week's chicken carcasses. Peep last week's Learning with Coop episode when we butchered up these chickens. I also kept all the fat trimmings and the innards and guineards from inside of each chicken. Now let's whack this in a 350-degree oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. Just long enough to get a little color on our veggies and our chicken carcasses. All right, 30 minutes have passed. Let's pull this out of the oven. You can see everything's got a little bit of color on it, some of that fat rendered out. This is gonna go perfectly in our chicken stock. Let's go ahead and throw this all inside of our pot. I'm using my trusty dusty old Dutch oven, but if you guys got a stock pot, that'll work even better. Into the bottom of the pot, I'm gonna go in with my chicken carcasses, stuff those bad boys in. Next, let's get in those roasted veggies, our onions, carrots, and green onions. Also throwing in my roasted innards and guineards in the pot as well. And as you can see, we got a lot of chicken pieces in here, but with very little vegetable, but that's okay. Because inside of my freezer, I keep a large Ziploc bag full of all of the scraps from my veggies whenever I'm making other meals. I'll just take all those scraps, collect them in this bag, and this is perfect to use whenever I'm making any stocks. This is a full bag with not a ton of room left inside of my pot, so I'm gonna put about half of it inside. Now I'm gonna take some cold water and pour it on top of these veggie scraps and chicken carcasses. Fill that up until all the contents in the pot are completely submerged. Press all those veggies down, make sure they get inside of that water. Now let's hit a 180 over to the stove, add a lid to this bad boy, and we're gonna let this come to a slow simmer for about 4 hours. Hey, if you're feeling this recipe, make sure you let everybody know you found it on Smell What Coop is Cooking. About 2 hours have passed. Let's go ahead and pull the lid off of this pot. As you can see, we got a nice little gentle simmer going on in our pot. Whenever you're hooking up chicken stock at home, make sure you start that boiling process under a low simmer. This is gonna help prevent your chicken stock from getting that scummy film on the top and allow us to keep all those delicious flavors from the fat that's left inside of this chicken. Veggies are nice and soft, just gonna push those down a little bit more, that way they're completely submerged in this liquid. You can see the stock starting to take on some good color, and this is smelling delicious, y'all. Let's go ahead and partially add my lid back on top. Now let's let this keep simmering for an additional hour. We're gonna check it after that time to see how much it's reduced and see if we need to put our lid back on all the way. All right, 3 hours have passed now. Let's pull the top off of this chicken stock and oh, it's looking fire. Pressing down on it, you can see that it's not a bunch of murky fat all over the place. These veggies have cooked down a ton. The liquid is slightly reduced, giving us an even better concentrated flavor of this chicken stock. Let's give this 1 more hour to simmer with the lid partially on, and after that, this chicken stock should be done. What's up, you guys? Make sure you don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out. All right, a full 4 hours have passed. Let's pull this top off, and as you can tell, All of these veggies inside have completely wilted. We've given our stock enough time to soak up all those delicious flavors from the chicken carcass and those veggies. We are almost at the home stretch, you guys. Let's grab a large mixing bowl and add a fine strainer on top. Now we're just gonna pass this liquid gold through the strainer to make sure that it catches all of those little bits that we don't need inside of our stock. Let all that liquid drip drain into your bowl. Now you're finally free to discard those chicken carcasses and all those veggie scraps. And we're left with this beautiful, delicious, concentrated stock. While this stock is still hot, I'm gonna add in a few turns of some pink Himalayan sea salt. Give that a quick mix so that salt can dissolve in all of that hot broth. Let's go ahead and transfer this into a glass jar. Making sure you don't spill any of this chicken broth we worked so hard to make. Go ahead and add my lid on top, and there you have it, you guys. Coop's super fire, super delicious, homemade chicken broth. I got about 3 cups of chicken broth from this one batch. Feel free to use this on gravies, pan sauces, or any other dish that you would need to add chicken broth to. Thank you for rocking with your boy for another episode of Smell What Coop is Cooking. Next time you're at your local barbershop or at the beauty salon getting your wig right, let them all know you found this hot recipe on Smell What Coop is Cooking. I'm out. Bam! There you have it, you guys. Coop's super fire, super delicious, foolproof, homemade chicken stock recipe. This one's perfect whenever you got any of those chicken carcasses that you're gonna be throwing away or any old vegetables that you can't really use anymore. Hook up one of these chicken stocks so you don't have any waste. Let me know what you think of this one in the comment section. We'll catch you guys next week for another episode. But until then, don't forget to like my ish, share with friend or foe you already know. For any special business inquiries,
investors, possibly you.
Hit your boy up at smellwhatcoopiscooking@gmail.com, and we'll catch you guys right back here next week for another episode of Smell What Coop is Cooking.